Hello, and welcome to How to Train Your Dragon Fun Fiction,
where we have scoured all the distant lands for the best fan fiction of How to Train Your Dragon.
These writers are not only super talented, but they're also super fans.
But not as super fans as us.
Yeah. This story was written by George Valtom, and it's called Astrid and the Underground Terrible Terrors. It all starts when Hiccup is feeling sick. Hey, I guess this is gonna be a pretty sick story, huh?
Start the story.
Phew, Hiccup sneezed, then settled back in his bed, pulling the covers up. He had woken with a terrible head cold. Astrid looked in.
Hey, Hiccup. I heard you weren't feeling well.
Phew, he sneezed again.
I guess I heard right.
Can you do a favor for me? I can't fly today, and Toothless is dying to get up there. Would you be able to take him with you in Stormfly later?
Of course. You feel better, all right?
A short while later, Astrid was on Toothless's back, soaring in the brisk winter air alongside Stormfly. Broken clouds covered the sky as they flew over the ocean. Bert couldn't be seen, it was so far off, but another island was coming up, covered in ice and wind-swept snow.
Let's land down there and rest.
As they landed, they sank only a few inches into the snow.
Just a few minutes, then we'll go home.
She got off Toothless and landed on the ground, and a deep echo crackled beneath her feet.
Okay, let's not rest there.
Never land your dragon on ice.
I know, it's the first thing you learn in dragon flying school.
Astrid tried to get on Toothless again, and more cracks sounded. With a crash, the ground vanished from beneath her. Astrid yelled as she and Toothless plummeted to the ground beneath to collapse. They ended up trapped in some side tunnel with a pile of stony rubble blocking the way back. She stepped forward into the darkness. Toothless and Stormfly followed close behind as she led them down the tunnel.
What's down the tunnel?
I'm getting to it. It's in the story.
Oh, sorry.
Stone walls pressed from either side, and the ceiling hung low over their heads. After a long, maddening walk, the tunnel began to grow light ahead. It widened into a massive room, and Astrid gasped as she looked around. The walls glittered with rubies and emeralds, with red and green dancing as the sun struck them.
By Thor, it's incredible. Have you guys seen anything like this?
An angry snort came from Toothless, and he roared in distaste.
Oh, come on. What's not to like about...
Her foot stepped on something and snapped it. All thoughts of beauty fled from her mind. She had just stepped on a human bone. They began hurrying across the room. As they came to the far exit, though, a distant chattering and slithering came from behind them. Astrid stared back, trying to narrow her eyes to see better. Now over the bones and stones, she could see them.
Terrible terrors.
Only these ones were blanched white, and their wide pupils colored their eyes black. They had lived underground so long that they had completely forgotten the sun.
Oh, gods.
Astrid yelled to Toothless and Stormfly.
Run!
She sprinted down the tunnel with the Night Fury and Deadly Natter right behind her, and behind them the terrors screamed and began racing after.
Okay, if I saw a terrible terror, I'd take my warhammer and I'd smash them in their terrible faces.
Where did you get a warhammer?
Just down the street.
One of the terrible terrors pounced at Toothless, who swatted it away with his tail. Another went for Astrid, who swung and batted it aside. But still, there were so many. Astrid realized they were outnumbered and desperately looked for some escape. But as she turned her eyes towards the ceiling, an idea struck.
Toothless! Plasma blast! Up there!
She pointed up where the signs shone through the ice. Toothless fired and a massive blast shattered the ceiling. The ice crashed to the ground and unfiltered sunlight pierced down. As the terrible terrors looked up into the explosion, the sun that they had never seen burned into their eyes. Their collective growl turned into a shrill scream as the tiny dragons scrambled for cover from the hateful glare.
Astrid quickly mounted Toothless, and the three of them were gone. It was almost evening when they got back. Astrid was still sniffling from the cold as they landed in front of Hiccup's house. She went inside, cradling her aching head as she went up to his room. She opened Hiccup's door, and for a brief moment, she thought about strangling him when he cheerfully asked,
Hey, did you guys have fun? Whoa, that story was awesome! For that, we're sending Valtom a How to Train Your Dragon portrait.
What? I want that portrait!
What? Ah! Thanks for watching DreamWorks TV. Make sure you subscribe and click up here for more videos.
This changes everything.